big statement opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys in Denver, but in the thin air of Mile High, they ran out of oxygen against the Denver Broncos. 44-24, the final in Week 8. We're breaking it all down here on Cowboys Flashback. I'm your host, Nicole Hutchison. Now, Dak Prescott was under duress all evening from forcing mistakes because he was given looks that forced those mistakes. 2 interceptions that were very uncharacteristic for our QB, but it was also a GP and CD thing as well. They had moments, but the protection was not there. They had pre-snap penalties, of course, the lack of a run game, and then the turnovers, very costly for this Dallas Cowboys offense, and it turned this game into a runway for the Denver Broncos. But on the other side of the ball, this Cowboys defense had their long day as well. No pass rush led to a long day. You had 179 rushing yards that they allowed, 80% in the red zone, from missed tackles to explosive plays, you name it, they had it all. And it was a similar game that we've seen all season long.
I think, when you look at it, I'm not just going to start with the defense. I don't think any of us coached or played well enough. We knew we'd have to come in and own the line of scrimmage. I think it started up front. You got to give Denver a lot of credit. I think they moved us around pretty good, had some big explosive runs, and that's hard. But, I told the guys, I said, look, it's one game. We did not play well. We did not coach well. We're going to get right back to work tonight. And if you let it bleed over into 2 and 3 games, then that means you're not a competitor, because this happens in this league.
When we got 3 points in that first possession, you look back and say, maybe we should have had 7. Then your second possession, you had some penalties in that kind of issue.
Yeah, definitely. A chance for sudden change. We get the turnover right away. We're down there on the half-yard line. I didn't see the penalty. But, the discipline, has to be better. I felt like there was 4 or 5 pre-snap penalties in the first half that definitely hurt us. You come into a tough place to play like this, you have to do a great job of having the discipline, and you got to score touchdowns in the red zone because there's big momentum gains that happens when you do that. So, unfortunately, we did not do that. I thought the guys fought. I thought they battled. But at the end of the day, we did not coach or play well enough today to beat a good football team.
Clarence Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Just talk about Dak's play. Thought a key turning point was certainly at the end of the half when he took a chance down the middle. Then we had a field goal in your back pocket. Was he pressing, or because you had to score touchdowns, that settled the field? I
don't think so. I think, we all felt it, Clarence. It was one of those deals where, it was hard to get into a rhythm a little bit, they played us 2-man, and he had a chance to go down the middle on Fergie, and it was, I think, the rookie, Barron, kind of looked back and got it. But I don't think so. I think, at the end of the day, Dak's done a great job of trying to just say each play is its own, and I don't think that. I think that but we have to win the takeover battle. We didn't do that. We've been doing that really, really well, and so you have the one right before the half, then you have the other one right down there late when we're fighting our butts off, try to get back in it, and that's not who we are. But no, I don't think that it had him pressing or anything like that.
It's a lot that goes into that, right? You've got 2 elite guys out at receiver. I don't really honestly care who's guarding them. No disrespect to the guys out there, even Surtain. So it's not like, oh, he's out there, I need to attack this other guy. I was just fine attacking 21, but the opportunities, we didn't make them when they presented themselves, and they did a better job.
Dak Hutchison for the ESPN 3-4-1. What are you guys right now?
3-4-1. Yeah, we've got to find consistency, honestly. The frustrating part about, coming out here and we lost a game playing our best, you can somewhat live with that, But when we didn't play anything close to that, I think Shotty said it in there. If there's somebody that feels like they played their best, come forward and say it. And I don't know if there's any player in that locker room that's going to feel that way. And so talking about identity, trying to find it, we were far from anything that we've been, especially on the offensive side of the ball today. And so that's what's as frustrating as anything is we didn't even play to our identity. We didn't play to our standard. And we've got to find a way to do that on the road. Once again, credit them, credit the crowd, credit the defensive coordinator and those guys out there playing. They did a hell of a job, but we've got to overcome that, especially with the players and the people that we've got.
Yeah, well, this Cowboys team is now 3-4-1. They have not been able to find out and string together some consecutive wins just yet, and haven't defeated an opponent with a winning record. So hopefully they do fix that over the next couple of weeks. But up next, we've got George Teague breaking it all down, how it all went wrong.
Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Is the Whataburger Dallas Cowboys Coach of the Week! Yeah! We got the chain, and here to tell it all about
Hey there, there's a familiar face right there. Legendary Cowboy, former first-round pick George Teague, earning Whataburger Coach of the Week awards. He will be featured also on ESPN and Monday Night Football. He's the head coach of John Paul II. Hey, I have the honors of having him in the studio. Isn't that pretty awesome?
Man, I'm happy to be here in your presence, but I do thank the Dallas Cowboys and Whataburger for the acknowledgement of our football team.
Yeah, congratulations. I know you guys are fresh off y'all's win against Corumdale Academy, so shout out to y'all. But unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys are not fresh off of a win in Week 8 against the Denver Broncos. 44-24, the final in Mile High Stadium. We're going to get straight to it. This defense allowed a season-high 44 points, 250 points through 8 games of the season. That's the third most in franchise history. Not numbers you want to see through 8 games of the season, but what all went wrong, George?
Particularly when you can't stop the pass. We didn't stop the pass either in our Corumdale game, but let me show you what happened with us and the Cowboys, right? So you got a coverage here where you got a gentleman going in motion. He's going to run a post, and he's going to run the switch, basically going to the corner, okay? So what we have to worry about is the leverage by Deron Bland at the top. So when you go ahead and run the play, you can see that Franklin is coming over. He is trying to set up the leverage of Deron Bland. At this point, Deron Bland starts to get outside of him. What I need for you to look at is him, okay, and him, right? Main thing is that if his angle goes this way instead of that way, he probably gets an interception. So he has good eyes on the quarterback. He sees the route, but he goes a little bit flat instead of going up the field. Touchdown.
Yeah, Troy Franklin, 6 receptions for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're going to get to that second touchdown as well. What happened and what went wrong on that play?
Cover 1, right? Man-to-man coverage. He's matched up on him. If you stay outside and understand that your help is inside by these 2 guys, it should be a pretty routine play for your corner. You get an in route. He decides to go underneath the guy instead of staying outside. He whips back out. No help out there. So,
yeah, we've talked about eye discipline. We've talked about missed tackles. We've talked about allowing explosive plays. We've talked about it all pretty much throughout the entire season. How do you move forward and clean these things up at this point of the year?
Man, the way you practice, the way that you practice has to happen. You got to give full go, and particularly if you're a backup and you're coming off of, it doesn't matter where you're coming from at this point. You just got to practice up to speed. So if they continue to work on the fine things every single day, hopefully you stop giving up the big plays.
Yeah, this is something that, head coach Brian Schottenheimer's talked about, Matt Eberflus has talked about. They've all said they're getting back to the fundamentals and improving in their practices. Unfortunately, it has not translated to game day just yet. But they've got another week, of course. They live again. They've got Arizona Cardinals and Monday Night Football. We'll see how that all plans out and how they fix things moving forward. But up next, we're diving more into this defense up next.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. This segment is brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
I think it frustrates all of us, because, again, I said it, and, Todd, asked the question, well, why do you think you're a good football team? Well, I think we have talent. We have weapons. We can score against anybody in the league. We've showed people we can play good run defense, and we can do those things. But, yeah, you'd be crazy. I'd be lying to you if I said you don't get frustrated. We're better than that. But we didn't play good today. So you don't get on the plane and not turn on your iPad, and you don't start pointing fingers at everybody else, and you don't say, oh, that's Clayton Adams' fault, you know? No, that's bullshit. It starts with me, and the coordinators and the players have to do their part, and we will do that.
Well, there's a lot of frustrations from head coach Brian Schottenheimer, but also in the locker room post-game. There was some frustrations as well after the Denver Broncos put up 44 points, a season-high 44 points against the Cowboys, and they fall 44-24, the final in Mile High. Now, there was some optimism, of course, just a week ago after the Cowboys made a statement win against the Washington Commanders, but now that somewhat has been put to bed just a little bit. The Denver Broncos had their best game of the year. You talk about the first half alone, 27 points in the first half. That was the most since 2013. That was when Peyton Manning, of course, was there. But in the first half, of course, they also had 264 total yards, 15 first downs, and 4 touchdowns. Now, there was some slightly improvement in the second half, but it was a little too late. This Denver Broncos offense was firing in all cylinders.
Yeah, just self-inflicted wounds, especially in the first half, and the game got away from us.
The fact that you all played so well last week, I mean, I know you wanted to build on that. Is the inconsistency frustrating too? Because you guys have shown that you can be a good defense in a game like last week.
Yeah, just a lot of inconsistencies, and just something that we got to continue to stay together and correct at the end of the day. So we got to just start with tomorrow, getting the corrections, and then coming back Wednesday and just hitting the ground running with it.
You're a veteran in this league, and there might be some younger players who might be discouraged. What's your message to them?
To the young guys?
Yeah.
It's a long season, and nothing is away from us. It's one game, and you got to look at the film today, look at the film tomorrow, and take the good things that you got from the game, and just come back and correct it, and just have that positive mindset, going forward. Like he said, we had spurts where we playing good defense. We got to find that consistency and just all start with practice and just executing when we get on the field.
Did they do anything up front that y'all didn't expect?
Nah. Everything that we seen, it was on film. It was none that we didn't practice or we didn't prepare for.
The Denver Broncos were 80% in the red zone, but 27 points again were the most first half points at home in Mile High. The only bright spot for this Dallas defense was Tricrest Bridges when he got an interception on the opening drive. But that's the first Dallas since Deron Bland in 2022 that had an interception. So shout out to him, but there's still some work to be done as they move forward. It was a long day for this Dallas defense. Well, it was also a long day for this Dallas offense. We're breaking it all down up next.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys offense had been firing all season long, ranking at the top of the league, but in Week 8, they absolutely met their match in the Denver Broncos. This top pass rush in the NFL sacked Dak Prescott twice, forcing 2 interceptions. You hadn't seen Dak Prescott throw an interception since Week 3 against the Chicago Bears. And there was no balance either. Of course, the run game held to just 108 rushing yards, 3.5 yards per carry. This passing game that has been high-flying all season long held to just 188 passing yards. That was because of the pressure that he faced. There was lack of blocking, this offensive line not able to find a groove. There were pre-snap penalties as well. The Cowboys' inefficiency in the red zone held to just 2 of 4 trips. That doesn't win ball games, but this Denver defense was absolutely the better team on Sunday.
Yeah, it's all about preparation, man. We got to come out here and execute, do the things that we've always planned to do throughout the early on in the week. And as for us, understanding that it is 17 games, I kind of lose track of what week it is, but I do feel like it's about time for us to start winning consecutively and putting streaks together.
So the offense has been so good at home, and it's had some inconsistencies on the road. I guess when you have that kind of discrepancy, how frustrating is it, and how do you kind of remedy that?
I'm not really thinking about home or away. It's about our performance, and how we can dominate. It don't matter where we play. Just continue to be us offensively and continue to, dominate the opponent. And I feel like we didn't do that this week.
You said it's all about preparation. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but was that missing in some ways leading into this game?
Not at all. That's not what I was saying. I was just saying I feel like the way that we prep in a week, that should carry over throughout the game. Us as a unit, as a team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. I feel like we played below our standard, and it showed on the scoreboard.
When Sertan was out in the second half, did they have to change things up? From their standpoint, was it just next man up and they kept doing the same?
For who?
Sertan went out and didn't play the second half.
Yeah.
They changed things?
Not necessarily. No, we didn't change much. We just got to be aggressive in those situations. I feel like, Sertan's a great player, and I'm sorry that he went out. My condolences to him. I did see it was his ankle, so probably a high ankle sprain, which I've experienced, and it's not the best. So prayers for his recovery. He's a good dude, good player, but I feel like we should definitely take advantage of those opportunities.
Halfway point of the season is kind of coming up here. You kind of talked about, hey, it's about time to win. Is that something that even needs to be talked about as a team, or is it everyone kind of feels that in here in time clock going?
I feel like we all grown. We all understand what's going on, but we definitely will pass it throughout the locker room. I'd rather over-communicate than under, and being one of the leaders, I should be the one, just having us have that sense of urgency and understand throughout the team. So that's for us, man. We got to go back to the drawing board, and we got a game on Monday night.
I feel like we could have played better overall. I wish we would have won, but it turned out the way it did. We just gotta execute better and get ready for next week.
What did it feel like when you came on the field here in Denver, a place that you have so many memories?
Yeah, it felt familiar because I've been here I was there for 4 years, but it was just another game for me.
Whose jersey did you end up getting?
Malcolm Roach.
How can you explain kind of the up and down nature of this team from one week to the next?
Yeah, we just got to be more consistent. We got everything that we need. We just got to put it all together. And, you can't just do it one game and not do it the next game. We got to be more consistent if we want to go where we want to go.
What's running there inside and just what that does to kind of open up play action and stuff like that. It seemed like it was tough sledding in the middle.
Yeah, they got a great defense. I feel like we could have executed a little bit better. Probably more communication. Just small things. We was lacking on the details today. We just got to get better.
The pass rush is something that's really good too, and you're part of the pass, picking up the blitzing and all that. Was it what you expected? Were they maybe a little better at that even than what you all expected? What was that like out there?
Yeah, pretty much what we expected. Those two guys on the edge are great players, even the backups, the entire D-line, actually the entire defense. They play well together. The secondary holds up to allow them time to get to the quarterback. So, we could have protected better, but overall, we just got to get back to the drawing board and execute next week.
Sponza, you guys have been so good at home. On the road, you guys have had a little bit more inconsistencies. How do you kind of go about fixing that, and how much does playing on the road with this kind of environment maybe play into that?
Yeah, we just got to execute better. I don't know if it's communication or what it is, but I feel like we got to get to how we play at home on the road.
Javonte Williams making an appearance against his former team, the Denver Broncos. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Now he's got 8 total rushing touchdowns on the year. 9, of course, from scrimmage. But, of course, it's time to turn the page. They're looking for execution. They're looking for some consistency and how they all put it all together. We'll talk about that up next here on Cowboys Flashback.
To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Dallas Cowboys Flashback, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. And by Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, I am not happy at all with winning 3 ball games, at all. And that starts really for what our goals are. Can we play better? Of course we can play better. But we knew coming in here, their fronts, both their defense and offensive front, was going to be a challenge for us. And we needed to offensively be able to play against a real big-time defense, and they played well, their defense. So I'm more impressed with how they handled us, our offense, because it was up front that made a lot of difference there. Secondly, I thought that we could stop them better defensively. We all saw the same thing out there. We've got a lot of work to do.
You guys heard the head man. Jerry Jones is not happy with that loss to the Denver Broncos, but the Cowboys have a chance to make him happy in Week 9. How about a matchup against the Arizona Cardinals? Well, they're 2-5, but don't get fooled. Their losses have come by 4 or less points. So can the Cowboys put up or shut up, or can they overcome adversity once again? We'll find out in Monday Night Football.